Okay, so today we will be doing an assessment corrections on the topic of basically everything from decimals, 1 or 2 fractions, some simple interest, some algebra, etc. So let's get into it. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask. We could dialogue in this recording. So we have 2.76 divided by 0.8. So I just divide that into my calculator. I get 3.45. Add, I will go 8.7 squared, which gives me 75.69. So that plus 3.45 is equal to 79.14. And yeah, they didn't ask us to round it to anything, so this is our answer, and that's a whopping 3 marks. So now we have a simple interest question, I believe, right? In a certain company, a salesman is paid a fixed salary of, so no, this is commission, of $3,140 per month plus an annual commission. So annual means per year, 2% on the total values of cars sold. If a salesman sold cars valued at $720,000 in 2009, calculate his fixed salary for the year. So if it's $3,140 per month, we know that we have to multiply that amount by 12 to get his salary for the year. So that's going to be 3,140 by 12, which will give me 37,000. Make sure I'm putting a dollar sign, $680. The amount he received in commission. So we know the commission is 2% of the car value sold for the year. So for the year, he sold 720,000 worth. So 720,000 multiplied. So this will be 720,000 multiplied by 2 over 100, which will give me an answer of $14,400. And his total income for the year will be his salary plus his commission, which will be these two above, 37,680 plus 14,400. $520,080. Yeah, so that's our first page there. Any questions? I hope that you all started off on, with a bang and have everything correct, right? Any questions before we move on?
No.
All right, awesome. So number 2, given that A is equal to 6, so now we're seeing B is equal to -4, C is equal to 8. Now we're seeing a number 2. This is a substitution question. Always be able to identify what you're working out. Substitution is you replace the letters with its given value. So A is 6, so that's 6 squared, plus B is -4, so we put -4 all over C. C is 8, so 8 minus B, and remember B is -4, so you put back that negative. You should have subtract -4, not just 8 subtract 4. So we solve this and we'll get 36 minus 4, that's 32, over 8 minus -4 is just 12, and that will give me 2 and 2/3. Yeah. If you do it in decimals, 2.67. Yes, Joshua.
Could you scroll wrap up to the top, please? I just want to see something. So you got 520,000. Isn't it not 52,080?
Yeah. Why did I put an extra 0? 52,080. correct? Thank you. All right, so simple substitution. Yeah, Tiffany?
If I left it as the 32 over 12.
Always simplify. Always simplify. Yeah?
Okay.
Always simplify your stuff. And what makes it easier is that you could actually put 32 fraction, sign 12, and get your answer. Go down to your simplest form, especially if it's a final answer. So express, so we're still on algebra, express, so simplify the expression. So again, what do I do? How do I go about simplifying this? I'm seeing this and I'm seeing this. The only thing I'm thinking about right now is distribution. So we want to reach a place where we can identify within ourselves what are the steps to get me my correct answer. So I look at my question and I say, well, if I have to simplify this, of course I need to add some stuff, subtract some stuff, but the only way I need to do, the first thing I need to do is distribute. So I'll end up with 3x minus 3y plus 4x plus 8y. That's from multiplying them out. And now I can group up my terms. So I can say 3x plus 4x is 7x and minus 3, pay attention, it's a negative 3. Add 5 will give me positive, add 8 will give me positive 5y. Don't give me 11y, it's not a positive 3, it's a negative 3. Pay attention and always take your time with your signs. So we have the second one now. 4x squared by 3x squared. We know we can multiply the numbers. 4 by 3 is 12. We know that x squared multiplied by x to the power of 4. We add the powers. So that's going to be x to the power of 6 all over 6x cubed. We know we can divide 12. 6 divided by 12 divided by 6, which is 2. And we know when we are dividing variables, we subtract the powers now. So that will be x to the power of 3. So everything I'm doing, I'm talking myself through it, remembering the rules. What do I do when I'm multiplying? What do I do when I'm dividing? What do I do here? Etc., etc. Of course, you will have to do that in your head and not out loud because you cannot speak out loud in your exams, right? Any questions so far?
No.
All right, so solve the inequality now. So inequalities are just like equations, but it's not an equation because an equation has an equal sign and an inequality has an inequality sign, right? So the only rules we know for inequality is that when we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, we switch the inequality sign or flip it. Right, so we put all our like terms on one side. So we have x minus 3x, still keep our less than, is equal to negative 7 plus 3. Pay attention to your signs, switch your signs, Tiffany. So negative 2x less than negative 4. We see now that we have to divide by negative 2. So our sign is going to switch to a greater than, and it's going to be negative 4 over negative 2. X is greater than 2. Anything here? Anyone made mistakes with their signs still?
I think I made a mistake.
Why is that, Tiffany? Where did you make a mistake?
I did it. I did it with the like instead of the equal sign. I think about it like to just carry it across.
Okay, that's what I did here.
Oh, I put the negative 3 plus 7, the less than sign, the 3x minus x.
So you have negative 3 plus 7, less
the
than.
less than sign, 3x minus x.
3x minus x, okay.
And then I have 4 less than sign 2x. X is equals to the less than sign 2 into 2 over 4, and I got 0.5.
2 over 4. What are you sending to divide? you're dividing 2 on both sides. So it's going to be 4 over 2. Simple mistake. So when you don't make mistakes with your sign, you want to give it away elsewhere. Can't make those simple mistakes. All right. So I really want you all to pay attention to the little things that are going to add up in your exam. The little things. You make mistakes like that in each question. At the end, you know, it's not going to be too nice. So take your time, take your time, take your time. You can move fast and take your time at the same time, right? So remember, if you're dividing by 2, you 2 have to go in the denominator. 2 by x, 2 is multiplying, so you send it across to divide. All right, so we end up with 2 is less than x, which is the same thing here. X is greater than 2, which is the same thing here, right? X is greater than 2, 2 less than x. So they said, according to this, if x is greater than 2, so we know how to do the number line. We have 1, 2, 3. X is greater than 2, so we go this way. Open circle because it does not include 2. Determine the smallest value of x that satisfies the inequality. So what is the smallest value that satisfies this inequality? X is greater than 2. What is the smallest number that is greater than 2? That would be 3. So x is equal to 3 would be our answer for this. So again, what is the smallest value that satisfies, meaning that makes the inequality correct? Like, what number is the smallest number that can fit into my inequality? And my inequality is x is greater than 2. So what's the smallest number that's greater than 2? That will, of course, be 3, right? And it's an integer they ask us for, so we have to, of course, use an integer value, which is positive 3.
Yes, if you just 3, you didn't put x equal to 3.
No, that should be fine as 1 mark. Yeah. Value of x that satisfies. Yeah. X is equal to 3 would be a nice, so you could put your x is equal to 3. All right. Mr. Mitchell deposited $40,000 in the bank and earned a simple interest at 7% per annum for 2 years. Calculate the amount to receive at the end of. So we have principal, we have rate, we have time. So we know our interest is PRT over 100. I love to write my formulas, so I know that I can follow my stuff correctly. I is equal to 40,000 by 7 by 2 all over 100, right? This just gives me 400 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 2, which gives me 5,600, and that's my simple interest. Part 2, Mr. Williams bought a plot of land for 40,000. The value of the land appreciated by 7% each year. Calculate the value of the land after a period of 2 years. So now we have compound interest. So anytime they tell you something starts to appreciate, we know the appreciation and depreciation formula. So appreciation is your amount accrued would be your principal by 1 plus R over 100 by N, which is your time. So 40,000 by 1 plus 0.07, 2 years. We could work this out. 40,000 by 1.07 squared, which gives me 45,796. Now pay attention, what did they ask us for? The value of the land after the period of 2 years, so this is the answer. If they had asked for the interest on the land, we would have then subtracted the 40,000 from the 45,000. But they asked for the entire value of the land, so we leave it as 45,796. Any questions? Awesome. So 2A. So we're back with some algebra here. Simplify. So remember, I watch a question and I immediately start to ask myself, how do I go about working this out? How do I go about giving them the answer that they also require? They said simplify this, x squared minus 1 over x minus 1. It's not substitution. They didn't give me any values to substitute anything. So I know I have to use rules of algebra in some form. And if I look at this properly, I can see that this is, I can factorize the top. So this on top here, anybody could tell me what method of factorizing we can use for the top here? Anyone knows? Remembers? So this is the difference of two squares. So I have a squared term and a squared term, and they are subtracting each other. Therefore, I could find the root of each one, x squared, and the root of 1. The root of x squared is x. The root of 1 is 1, and I know that my answer for this will just be x plus 1 by x minus 1. All over x minus 1. So I had to be observant to see that I had to factorize the top to get them into two brackets, the product of the binomials. And then I can now say, well, oh, these two could cancel each other. And I'll end up with x plus 1, and that's my simplified answer. So the second one now. 4ab squared plus 2a squared b, I cannot add them. They are different terms. I cannot end up with 6a cubed b cubed. No, 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 no. Right? They are different terms. So I cannot add or subtract unlike terms. So I could do 2 out of 2 things. So the first one I would say is I could separate the denominator. So I can say 4ab squared over AB, because remember they have the same denominator, so I could just separate them. 2a squared b over AB. So this is your answer as 2 separate fractions, and this is your answer as 1 single fraction, right? So it's the same thing. Now I could start to simplify them. I could cancel out my a's, and I'll end up with a b. So I'll end up with 4b. I could cancel my a, I'll end up with just a, cancel my b's. So end up with 4b plus 2a. Nice and simple, simplify. Or I could do the same thing like I did on top, factorize using regular factorization. So for me to factorize this, I could take out 2. I can take out a. I can take out b. And I'll remain with 2b, 4ab squared, add a, all over AB, and now I can say AB and AB cancels, and I'll end up with 2 open brackets 2b plus a, which is the same thing as this, 4b plus 2a. So either one is fine to work this question out for your formats. Any questions?
Yes, I got 4b plus 2a squared b. I thought they couldn't divide because it was different variables for the 2ab part.
But both of them have different variables. So the rule is when you're adding or subtracting, when you are dividing your variables, you subtract the powers.
No, I know that. But seeing as the denominator is AB and the variable for 2 is 2a squared b. I thought they couldn't divide.
The rule is when you're dividing, you subtract the powers. So if you know that, I'm not sure about the question you're asking me. They don't have to be like variables for you to subtract the powers. So 2a squared b over ab. This comes like it's a 1, so 2 divided by 1 is 2. A squared divided by a is a, and b divided by b is b. You're subtracting the powers. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Same thing for this one. 4ab squared over ab. 4 divided by 1 is 4. A and a cancel, meaning 1 minus 1 is 0. And 2 minus 1 is 1. That's how we end up with 4b. Yeah? So if you know that you could do it, and then you're still telling me you think that they are different variables, you're mixing up your rules. You understand what I'm saying?
You have one AB, right? How come it was shared between the two terms?
What was
Shouldn't
shared between the two terms?
Shouldn't after the division of the 4, wouldn't that be the end of the AB variable?
AB squared divided by AB is how much?
No. I'm talking about the first term has AB squared. The second term has A squared B. They only have one denominator, which is AB.
No, we don't have one denominator. That is our LCM. So I can break up my terms for each numerator. So I have 4ab squared over, okay, let me show you.
Oh, okay,
regular.
Okay, I get it.
2 over 3 plus 4 over 3 is just 6 over 3. Yeah? So I can break it up into different fractions. Any other questions, anyone? All right, so we express as a single fraction this lovely stuff here, 3p over 2 plus q over p. So we know, again, I cannot just add them because they are two different denominators. So it's not like this where I could just say, oh, AB and AB, so I add it up. So now I know I have to find my LCM, so that's 2 by p. And then I say, well, 3p into 2p, so I can say 3p. So I can say, how many times can 2 go into 2p? Right, so 2p divided by 2, we know that's just p, so we take that p and we multiply by 3p, so p by 3p. So the same thing, how many times can p go into 2p? So 2p divided by p now, our answer is 2. So we take that 2, so we add 2 by q. So our answer is 3p squared plus 2q all over 2p. Any questions? Right. So part C, we see another question. They are telling us solve for x. I am seeing 3x squared minus 7x plus 2 is equal to 0. What is this? And how do I go about working this out? So we have to identify our questions by topics. What topic is this?
Factorization.
Thank you. Nice. Quadratic factorization. So I know that I have to go now and identify my A, my B, my C. So what's the value of A? 3, B is -7, and C is +2. So we know that we have to multiply AC, which is 3 by 2. Then we have to say, well, okay, that gives us 6. We find two numbers that when we multiply them, we get 6, and when we add them, we get -7. So I can say 1 by 6, 2 by 3. That's about all, right? But if I do -1 by -6, I'll get +6. And if I say -1 minus 6, I'll get -7. So -1 and -6 are my two numbers. So I rewrite my stuff, 3x squared minus x minus 6x. So remember, this is just 1x plus 2 is equal to 0. I factorize, I just take out my x here, 3x minus 1 minus, I can take out 2, 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. Pay attention to your signs. So remember, both of them must be 3x minus 1. So I can put 3x minus 1 and x minus 2 all equals to 0. They told me to solve for x, so I can't stop here. I have to separate them now. 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. X minus 2 is equal to 0. So x will end up as a third and x will end up as 2. So these are my values for x. X is equal to a third or x is equal to 2. Any questions?
0.33.
That's fine. Yeah. Any other questions?
Could you scroll back up to the first question on this page, please? Okay.
Irma's take-home pay is $4,320 per fortnight. So they told you every 2 weeks. Each fortnight, Irma's pay is allocated according to the following tables. So she has her rent. So every fortnight, right? This is her breakdown, her budgets. I hope you all have budgets, right? So her rent is X amount of money. So they include in some algebra now. So we can't just think about money, but we have to think about algebra. Her food is $6.29. Her other living expenses is 2x. So whatever x is, her living expenses is 2 times that, right? Her savings is $17.50. So she's a very strategic person. She saves a lot of money, right? So what is Irma's annual take-home pay? So annual means per year. So assume that there are 52 weeks, right? If there are 52 weeks and she's getting paid per fortnight, that means every 2 weeks she's getting this. So the first thing I can do is divide 52 by 2 to see how many fortnights there will be, which is 226. So she's getting paid for 26 weeks. So now I can now say, well, 26 multiplied by 4320, which will give me $112,320. $112,320 is her annual take-home pay. Any questions? So she gets paid every fortnight. A fortnight is every 2 weeks, so she's not going to get paid by 52. We have to divide the 52 weeks into 2, because every 2 weeks she's getting paid. So we divide 52 by 2, we get 26, and then we multiply that 26 by 4320. Any questions so far? Whopping 1 mark. Determine the amount of money that Irma allocates for rent each month. All right, determine the amount of money that Irma allocates for rent each month. So rent is X amount of money. So what we need to do is solve for X. How do we go about solving for X here? I want to hear from you all. I don't want to give you all the answer. How do we go about solving for X? Determine the amount of money that Irma allocates for rent. Rent is X amount every fortnight. So that means she has to do that by 2. So how do we go about finding out how much money she pays for rent? Anyone? Right, so we add up our X terms, add up our numbers, and we solve for X by subtracting 2379, remaining with 1941, and dividing 1941 by 3 to get our X. Right, so we know we have to add the 2 variables, we have to add the 2 numbers. That's how we got this and this. And we subtract 2,379 from 4,320 here, and we divide it by 3 on both sides, giving us 647. However, we are not finished with our answer. They ask, determine the amount of money that Irma allocates for rent each month. This is for a fortnight, so of course that will be by 2. So it's going to be 647 multiplied by 2. But we have to pay attention because you might say 647, whoop, that's my answer, I'm finished. No, take time with it. So 1,294. Yeah. All of Irma's savings is used to pay her son's university tuition. So she really loves her son and she's using all of her savings to pay his university tuition, which is 150,000. If Irma's pay remains the same and she leaves the same amount each month, what is the minimum number of years that she must work in order to save enough money? So again, critical thinking. And in a question like this, you replace Irma and you put it with your name. How long would it take me to save 150,000 with my 1750 per fortnight? How long would it take me to save up $150,000? That's what I want you all to take a minute to think about. How long would you, with your saving $750 per every 2 weeks, how long would it take for you to save up $150,000? Right, so we got her savings every 2 weeks. We can multiply that by 2 to get 3,500 for the month, and we can do 35 by 12 for the year. If you want, you could also say use the same 52 weeks they gave you earlier, divide that by 2, which is 26. So you know that she's saving 26 by 1750 to give you 45,500. So this is for the year one way and this is for the year one way. Both methods, you have to divide 150,000 by your answer. Right, giving you this one gives you 3.3 years and this one gives you 4.57 years. But the minimum amount of years that she needs to work to get that amount is 4 years. Because if she works for 3 years, she wouldn't make it. So she has to work for 4 years minimum to get that amount of tuition for her son. All right, next question. We're back to algebra. Simplify completely. All right, so we see here it's multiplication. We know we can do 3 by 4 is 12. P squared and p to the power of 5, we know we add the powers of our variables. So p to the power of 7. And that was a nice easy mark. So division, rules of division. 3x over 4y cubed. We can change that to multiplication and flip 20y squared over 21x squared. I like to simplify my stuff in a way where it's simple for me. So I'll say 60xy squared over 84x squared y cubed, and I'll put 60 fraction sign 84 in my calculator. 60 fraction sign 84, and I'll get 5 over 7. I know that my x's are going to cancel. I'll remain with one x at the bottom. My y's are going to 1y. So I have 5 over 7 xy, or if you like to look a little incomplete, 5x to the power of negative 1, y to the power of negative 1. I prefer this method. It's much easier, right? Any questions? Always remember, take your time, divide, subtract your powers when you're dividing. Solve the equation. So you see this and you decide to run. Why? Why you run it? No, don't run from it. Again, two fractions adding each other. We know that we have to find the LCM no matter how weird it looks. We know we can find the LCM by just multiplying them by each other. So x, open bracket, 7x minus 1 is my LCM. So I come to the side and I say 7x minus 1 by x divided by 7x minus 1. But remember, you see how much times the denominator can go into your LCM. It cancels as x. So I'll end up with 3 by x, which is 3x. Add, same thing, x, open brackets, x, 7x minus 1, all over x. These cancel and I'll end up with 7x minus 1. So I multiply that by 1, which is just 7x minus 1. And all of that is equal to 0. 3x plus 7x is 10x minus 1 equals to x by x. 7x minus 1 equals to 0. We know that when we're solving, we can clear the denominator, so I could send this across to multiply. And I'll end up with 10x minus 1. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So it simplifies our equation. And we solve for x. 10x is equal to 1. And x is equal to 1 over 10. Nice and simple. Any questions here?
I divided the 1 by 10 and I got 0.1. I wasn't supposed to do it.
That's fine, yeah. One is a fraction, one is a decimal, yeah. Any other questions? So do not get intimidated by these things up here. See these complicated things? You just put your brackets and you know you're multiplying them. If it was 3 over 4, add 4 over 3, you would have come and say LCM is 12, right? Because it's 4 by 3. Nice and simple. Or if your denominator was, if your denominator was 4 by x, you know that you would have put your LCM as 4x. So it's the same thing here. 7x minus 1 by x. Put x on the outside, put your 7x minus 1 in brackets and create your LCM. This and this cancels, you remain with x, 3 by x. This and this cancel, you remain with 7x minus 1. Multiply that by your numerator. Do not let the questions intimidate you. You have a wonderful and intelligent brain that is able to think through stuff. And all you have to do is take your time and do that. And practice until you are extremely comfortable. All right, so we're going again. Reading.
It's just can you scroll back up to the 3x over 4y?
The
3x over 4y cubed, the other one before
that. What 3x over 4y? Yeah?
Yes, this one. Yeah.
4y cubed.
How did you get the 84?
How did I? 20 21 by 4 is 84, right? Yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Any question?
So once the power of the variables below is greater than the.
So this is a statement. When a number x is multiplied by 2, a number x is multiplied by 2. A number x is multiplied by 2. A number x is multiplied by 2. Bam. The result, this is the result. What is the result of x by 2? 2x. The result is squared to give a new number, y. So y is equal to 2x squared. Y is equal to 4x squared. So I'm going at this again. It takes some understanding, it takes some reading and understanding. A number, remember they refer to numbers as x and y's. A number x is multiplied by 2. So x is multiplied by 2. The result of that is 2x. So the result is squared. So 2x is now squared, which will give me 2 squared is 4, x squared is x squared. To give a new number y. So this new number is y. So y is equal to 4x squared. Any questions here?
Yes, I had x by 2 squared equal y. And I just got y equal to 4x before 2.
Yes.
I didn't do all that which you did there, but I have the answer.
Once you multiply the 2 and you square it and you put it equal to y, that's fine. Yeah. Any questions? Determine the two values of x that satisfy the equation y is equal to x. And the equation derived in. So determine the two values of x. So yeah, we had to find two values of x that satisfy the equation y equal to x and the equation derived. So we have y is equal to 4x squared, and it also told us this equation. Y is equal to x. All right, what does this look like? They're asking for two values of x from two equations. Y is equal to x and y is equal to 4x squared. Who can tell me what it's looking like? You should be jumping at me, giving me answers.
Simultaneous.
Simultaneous. What's the first step? 1 and 2. What's next, Tiffany? What's next? Tiffany, what's next?
You're taking away equation 1, take away equation 2.
You can make them equal to each other because both of them are y's. So substitute 1 into 2, 2 into 1, however it goes, say make them equal to each other. 4x squared minus x. Right? Sorry, 4x squared is equal to x. And then we say 4x squared minus x is equal to 0, put it in a quadratic form. What do we do next now? So it's not exactly, we don't need to solve it like quadratic equation, but I need you all to brainstorm and tell me, not even brainstorm, how to go about solving this. 4x squared minus x is equal to 0. What are we thinking to do? Again, logical thinking. 4x squared minus x is equal to 0. How can we work this out? To solve for x. What are some of our only options? Or what is our only option? Tiffany.
the ABC thing.
We have a C.
Oh, no.
Right. Joshua, what's next?
I would say to put both equations equal to 4x squared.
What's that?
So we put both, make the subject of the formula for both equations, for both expressions.
Make what? What's that? I can't hear you. Crystal, how to go about solving this? 4x squared minus x is equal to 0.
We need to solve for, we need to get y.
There's no y.
No.
4x squared minus x is equal to 0. How to go about solving this?
Or you bring in all to one side.
Everything is already on one side. 4x squared minus x is equal to 0.
Or there's no when you doing the factorization part with A, B, and C.
But we don't have a c. Yeah? And you'll see in these things, right? There's no c. Yeah?
Yeah, it's not C because
So
0.
why you're still telling me do A, B, and C? That is what I want you all to see, how to think through your question. There's no A, there's a A and there's a B, but there's no C, so we can't use that. So we go to our next way. How would we go about solving?
It will be 4.
Shanice,
Someone think if I answer the phone.
so what we have to do is factorize, yo. Come on, you have to see it. If there's nothing else for you to do, at least you could try to factorize it. How to factorize 4x?
So ABC is not factorization.
Yeah, but you're telling me use ABC. There are different types of factorizing. We could just use the highest common factor here, where we could take out the terms. Yeah? So ABC is a different type of factorizing, the quadratic factorizing, where we have a A, where we have a B, where we have a C. But we don't have this here, so we use regular factorization. I wanted somebody to tell me that, oh, we could take out the X and etc., right? So X open brackets. What's inside our brackets?
4x
4x,
minus x
4x minus
minus 1.
minus 1 equals to 0. Now we have this, what can we do? We're back to the place where we have two brackets equal to 0. We know what to do. Remember, we have to solve for x. So what do we do? What do we do? So this question told us to, just recapping it, they told us determine two values of x, so that means we are solving for x, right? Determine two values of x that satisfy the equation y is equal to x and the equation from above. So they want y is equal to x and y is equal to 4x squared. Solve for two values. So we already see simultaneous equation. So we know that once both of them are equal to y, we can put them equal to each other. So 4x squared is equal to x. We send it over on one side, giving us 4x squared minus x is equal to 0. So now in a case like this, we are accustomed finding the value of A, B, and C and factorizing using that quadratic method. But in this case, they did not give us a C, so we just have to factorize the regular way by taking out the common terms or the highest common factors. So that's how we ended up with 4x squared minus x, right? We subtracted x on both sides. 4x squared minus x is equal to 0. we end up factorizing it, taking out the x open bracket, 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. When we reach a place like this, in order for us to solve for x, we take each of the product, each term in the product, and put it equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, and then 4x minus 1 equals to 0, and we should be able to solve this because this is just solving a linear equation. X is equal to 0 is solved. 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. We add 1 on both sides, giving us 4x is equal to 1. We divide 4 on both sides, giving us x is equal to a quarter. Yeah, and that's how we got our two values for x. X is a quarter or x is equal to 0. That's how we solved our, so basically this was a worded simultaneous equation. They didn't tell you that it was a simultaneous, but from reading it, putting it together, you realize that it is a simultaneous equation. Any other questions? All right, so this is another simultaneous equation. What can we do here? Elimination or substitution? Which method are we going with? Elimination, subtracting from the get-go, or substitution?
Substitution.
Substitution, because we see because of this, it will be hard for us to eliminate. We only eliminate when we have y, x, x accordingly, not when we start up them mixing up the stuff like that, right? So this is one linear and one non-linear equation. So let us go. So that means you're gonna make one of them the subject of the formula. So which one we trying to make a subject of the formula? So we have 1 and we have 2. Which one are we going to make a subject of the formula?
Y.
All right, so we can say y is equal to what?
27 minus 4x.
27 minus 4x. You could also do it for the other one, right? You could do it for any one. Huh?
Put s instead of x.
Yeah, I was trying to erase it. 4x. We could have also did this. X is equal to 40 minus xy. Right? Anyone is fine. But of course, number 1 is easier. All right, so what do we do now? We could call this 3. And we could substitute 3 into 2, right? Or we'll substitute it into the other equation. So tell me, what am I writing here? Y is equal to this. Where if I see y, I replace it and put this. So guide me.
So button x, open bracket, 27 minus 4x, close bracket, equal to 40.
You forget something.
Equal to x
Plus x.
plus x equal to 40.
All right, very good. Of course, you like to make those minor mistakes for no reason, huh? But very good. Right, what do we do next now? What's next? Come on, you all. It's 9 minutes past time. What do we do next?
We bring all the x on one side.
We have something to do before we do that.
Yeah.
We have something to do before we get to that step.
I'll remove the bracket.
Distribute. What would I end up with? What would I end up with? Come on, you.
27x.
27x.
27, yeah. Minus y.
Minus. Minus what?
5x.
What? Multiplication. Multiplication. X by 27 is 27x. X by negative 4x is what?
4x squared.
Thank you. Minus 4x squared plus x equals to 40. What's our next step from here? y'all, what's the next step?
Bring the x's together.
All right, what would that be? What would that be? I think y'all are taking too long to answer some stuff that are pretty simple. You said bring the x's together. What do we do now?
27x plus x.
Which is how much? Which is how much?
27x squared.
No. You do not change the powers when you are adding variables. That is for when you are multiplying variables. What's the answer for 27x add 1x?
28x.
Thank you. 28x minus 4. If you will live and breathe these rules, you'll keep getting mixed up every day, every class. You have to live in these rules because it's very easy to mix up. Equals to 40. What's next? So remember simultaneous equations.
ABC.
What? Before we get to that, very good. Before we get to that, we have to put everything on one side and make it equal to 0. Yes? Now we have a ABC, so we need to put everything on one side. So what? I will send these things on this side so I can get this positive. Yeah, so what will I end up with?
Minus 4x squared plus 28x minus 40 equal to 0.
So I will say 4. I'll send across my negative 4 so I can make my 4x positive. It's always easier if this is positive. So 4x squared minus 28x plus 40 is equal to 0. So I sent across my negative 4x squared and I sent across my positive 28. That's how I got positive 4x squared minus 28x plus 40 is equal to 0. What do we do now? What's next?
If you had the A as minus 4.
You just have to take your time and factorize it.
Okay.
Yeah. Should get the same answer when you say do it correctly. So what's next, y'all?
We do the A B thing now.
Is equal to 4, B is equal to negative 28, C is equal to 40. If I C is 4 by 40, which gives me 160. So of course we know we try and make numbers one time. 2 numbers to give us 160, subtract to give us, add or subtract to give us negative 28. So I'll try
20 by 8.
How much?
20 by 8.
20 by 8. Nice. 20 by 8, but it's going to be negative 20 by negative 8, right? Yeah, because you want negative 28. So that's going to be, well, my own will be negative 20 by negative 8. Yours will be different. So 4x squared minus 20x minus 8x plus 40 equals 0. I can factorize 4x, x minus 5, 4x squared minus 20x. I can take out minus 8, x minus 5 equals 0. X minus 5 by 4x minus 8 is equal to 0. We're not done. We have to solve for x. Somebody tell me what's my next step, please, to solve for x.
Make each individual bracket equals 0.
Very good. X minus 5 equals 0 and 4x minus 8 equals 0. What's the answer for the first one? X equals to 5, right? And then this one is x is equal to 8 over 4, which is 2. So remember, you send across the 8 to add, or you add 8 on both sides. So 4x is equal to 8, and then divide by 4 by both sides, x is equal to 2. We are not finished. All we did was got the values of x, so now we could call this 4 and 5. And now we have to substitute 4 and 5 into, of course, I'll go with 1. So that will give me y plus 4x equals to 27. Y plus, actually, I'll use this one here because it already has y as the subject of the formula. So I'll substitute it into 3. And I'll have y is equal to 27 minus 4x. Y is equal to 27 minus 4 by 5. Y is equal to 7. And y is equal to 27 minus 4x. Y is equal to 27 minus 4 by 2. Y is equal to 19. So hence, x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 7. Or x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 19. Any questions here? It's a little, scrappy, but you should be able to follow it. Solve, make one of the equations, make one of your variables to substitute of the formula, substitute it back, bring everything on one side, forming a quadratic equation. Solve the quadratic equation for the two values of x or the two values of y. Take those answers, substitute it back into one of the equations from higher up and get your other two variables, the values of them. Any questions? Free to scroll on.
Yeah.
All right, the last page. Write the following phrases as an algebraic expression. All right, easy stuff. 7 times the sum of x and y. Somebody tell me. 7 times the sum of x and y. What would this be? Is it this?
No, open bracket 7 open brackets x plus y.
All right, nice, very different. Thank you. So, all right, the product of two consecutive numbers where the smallest number is y. So if there's a number y, what's the next number after y? Algebra. What's the next number after y? What's the number after 2?
Because I just put y plus 1.
Y plus 1. Because the number after any number is that number plus 1, right? That's how we go generally. So the product of two consecutive numbers when a smaller number is y, our two numbers will be y and y plus 1. I believe everybody here would have done this question with me at some point in their life. So product means to multiply them. So y by y plus 1. So we can leave it like this. Yeah, we can leave it like this. Or y squared plus, we can leave it like that, the product. Leave it like that. Y by y plus 1. Right? It's just 1 mark.
So they said the product of two consecutive numbers when the smaller number is y. So the smaller number needs to be outside.
Well, what would you put outside? Like what you're thinking? Y plus 1 by y? Y plus 1 would still be in brackets because y plus 1 is one whole number. Y plus 1 is the next number, the bigger number. Yeah?
Right, so product means to multiply. So they said two consecutive numbers. You could choose any numbers.
No, they said y is the number. Y is the smaller number. So therefore the number after y would be y plus 1. And then you just multiply these two.
Oh, so it'll be y, then y plus 1, y plus 2, like that?
Y plus 2, y plus 3, etc. What's the number before y, anybody? What's the number before y?
X.
What? Sir?
0. 0.
What? How are you giving me
It's
letters?
negative y. Negative y?
You're close, but not negative y. If the number after y is y plus 1, what's the number before y?
Y minus 1.
Y minus 1.
Y minus 1.
Right.
Yeah, no x's and no zeros, right? Think algebra all the time. Just like 2, the number after 2 is 2 plus 1, which is 3. The number before 2 is 2 minus 1, which is 1. Yeah? So, yeah, algebra, you had a real be on your game with the algebra. Right, so if they say y was a larger number, it would have been y by y minus 1, if y was a larger number. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Yes, if you had no brackets.
Nah, you
So-
wouldn't get it correct. If you had y by y plus 1,
Yeah.
but that would just be y squared plus 1, because you only multiply this and you will leave the 1. But you have to make sure and let them know it's y multiplied by this whole thing, which is y squared plus y. Yeah? So you should definitely put that bracket in. All right, so another simultaneous, okay, you will definitely do that one on your own. Well, you all should have already done it, you know? So I'll go and check the answer for this one. If you all know, you all need to submit it over, tell me one time. Factorize completely. What's the answer for this? Okay, identify. So we have 3 different types of factorization here. Maybe they are all the same, maybe they are all different. What type of factorizing is this one here?
Quadratic.
When you think about quadratic
No.
factorization, you see in
No,
3.
number two is quadratic. Sorry.
Factorize is in squares.
Huh?
Factorize is in the 2 squares.
Factorize what?
Factorize is in
Square.
squares.
I can't hear you properly. One more time, one person.
That is the one with the 2 brackets.
Correct, the difference of 2 squares. Because we are seeing that 4y squared, 4 and y squared is a square term, z squared is a square term. So what's the answer? Square root of 4y squared is what? What's the square root of 4y squared? What kind of easy stuff is this you're sticking with? What's the square root of 4?
2.
What's the square root of y squared? What's the square root of y squared?
2 minus.
Y. So the answer for this will be 2y. You all remember the square root and the square cancels, right? All right, what's the square root of z squared?
Z.
Z. So tell me what's in the 2 brackets?
2y minus z. 2y minus z.
Plus, you know. One add, one subtract, yeah? So this was the difference of 2 squares. What's for number 2? Which type of factorization is for number 2? 2ax minus 2ay minus bx plus by. What type of factorization is this one? Huh? Starts with G.
Grouping.
What's that? What did you say, Joshua?
By grouping.
Then factorization, so we factorize them 2 by 2. So this is going to be factorized here and here. So again, you all know I talk a lot, but I hope you all register some things I say. Every question you have to always ask yourself before you pick a pen and pencil, what is this question asking me? What is the right method to use for this question? So we see, although all three of them is factorizing, it's 3 different types. So the first one was difference of 2 squares. We have to know that in order to get it correct. The second one is group factorizing, where we do 2 by 2, right? So what's the, how to factorize this? 2ax minus 2ay. What's coming out?
2a.
Open brackets.
X minus y.
All right. What's coming out in the next one?
Negative b.
Negative b.
Brackets x minus y.
X minus y. Very good. All right. So, and you end up with x minus y by 2a minus b, and we're finished, right? Yeah. Factorize the second one. Now, the third one, what type of factorizing is this?
The one with the ABC.
Correct. Quadratic factorizing. What's A?
8. No, 10.
What's A? Why? It's like
So it's 3, then
that's your brain.
3, 10, then 8.
Yeah, so why did you start from the back?
I didn't even know I was watching.
So A is the coefficient of the x squared. Always remember, even if they switch it up, put it in the correct order. X squared then x, then number. So you'll not mix it up. Because they can give it to you like this, minus 8 plus 10x plus 3x squared. But you still have to remember to put it back in this format. X squared, x number. So A is 3, B is 10, C is negative 8. I want you all to solve this to me, please. Go ahead. Those of you who did not solve it, or those of you who solved it, you can give me the answer. I'm going up to the top here. AC is how much?
Minus 24.
Minus 24. So that's 3 by what? Negative 8?
Yeah.
All right. And then what do we do? Looking for 2 numbers that multiply to give us 24 and add to give us how much?
10.
10, the B value. All right. So what we do it? Looking like a 12 and a 2 somehow.
Yeah.
So what we want? Positive 10. So that means the numbers are going to be 12 and minus 10. Minus 2. 12 and minus 2, right? That will give us negative 24. And 12 minus 2 will give us positive 10. Yeah? So these are our 2 numbers. So we write it over as 3x squared minus, okay, add, 3x squared, add 12x minus 2x minus 8. No equal to 0, so we don't even need to solve for x's, we just factorize it without solving. Factorize. First bracket someone. So you see, we come up to group factorizing. What would it be? Let's go home stretch. Let's go. What would it be? Okay, 3x open brackets x plus 4 minus 2x minus 2 open bracket x plus 4. We end up with x plus 4 by 3x minus 2, because I know you all want this recorded to be 3 hours, right? So it's 8 o'clock, and this is the final part of all our revision questions. Right, so this is it for today until we do another revision deep